Three, two, one, ghost. Hidey ho! Ha ha ha! Welcome to 3, 2, 1, Ghost. As always, I'm your host with a silent G, Kyle, and as always, joined by my friend to the end, Natalie. Hey, Natalie.
That
Hidey ho, how are you?
was great. Good job. I'm doing great.
I. Hey, everybody. We're jumping into another series.
Yeah.
Series. I don't know. I forget what we call it. Is it a series, essentially? If we're doing a
A
series based
franchise,
on a
a
series?
franchise series.
That's a way better way to put it.
That's what we've been saying.
Oh my gosh. Have we? Whoops.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to our official franchise series. We did Scream, we did Final Destination. Now we're doing a personal favorite of ours.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong, this franchise has some highs, has some lows. It's got a lot in between. It goes all over the place, but
It
I'm
does.
really excited to be talking about the Child's Play franchise, or
hmm
known colloquially as the Chucky franchise.
I think it changes after the third one.
Yeah. How stoked are
Mhm.
you to be watching these movies and discussing them?
I'm so excited. This would have been, I think, one of my first picks, but Scream, I think, was the natural choice. But Chucky is a heavy hitter for me, and I think for you too. So this is going to be a fun one. And there's seven, eight films if you include the remake. So it's a long one.
Which we might. We'll decide when we get there.
Yeah.
Before we get too deep into this, because I know I'm gonna fuck up and I know I'm gonna break some rules, and I'm trying to be kind to myself. Last time I tried the shock therapy and that was not working. And this time I am like, I'm just gonna try to just give some more grace to myself. But given that, Natalie, can you explain the rules before we dive into this movie?
Yes. This should be familiar. We did this with the last two franchises, so you really can't fuck it up, Kyle. Um, as we talk about each film, you cannot spoil any future films. So this one will be the toughest because it's the first one. So we can only talk about the first film with no implications of what happens in later films. I think that this rule is most important for this franchise because I would bet that there's a lot of people who have seen some of these movies, but not all of them. So if you're one of those people, please watch all of them. I think all of them have something worth watching and we're going to spoil them as we go through them. And when we get to later movies, we will talk about past movies. So that's the first rule. Can you handle that, Kyle?
Yeah, yeah. Heidi ho, I can handle that.
The Hidey Ho has to stop. It stops
Uh,
here.
unless you make that an official rule.
I might. I'll consider it. And then the rest is just what we'll share. So what we have prepared is our boo score, as always. We're also going to share our favorite kill of each movie. We'll also be sharing our favorite Chucky quote of the movie because the guy's got some good lines, some good one-liners. And then we'll rank the films. Obviously, we only have one right now, so that will start once we get to Child's Play 2. And that's it. Easy.
Sounds easy. I think I can
Mhm.
do it.
Yeah, I think you can too.
Let's do it. Want to hop into Child's Play?
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. When is the first time you watched this movie?
Gosh, this is just bad parenting 101. I want to say that I watched this movie when I was like 5 or 6, Andy's age, probably. And when I say that this movie had an impact on me, I think the only other two big ones that compete would be like Freddy and Candyman. Freddy, Candyman, and Chucky terrified me as a child. Nightmare fuel. I have been afraid of dolls since then. I would see him in my nightmares. I remember seeing that VHS cover in the video store. Like, and then at that time there was still Child's Play 2. It is that one specifically. That cover is really scary. Um, it, yeah, it fucked me up for sure. for sure. How about
I
you?
hear
How old were you?
way too young, definitely. But this movie isn't very silly. It does, I mean, it's
Hmm.
a silly concept, yeah, but it plays it absolutely straight.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
and and I really do think I'm just like, yeah, well, if someone really thought about what happened if a possessed serial killer, or a serial killer possessed the body of a doll and started murdering people,
Hmm.
yeah, I think that is what it would look like. It's a pretty close approximation, I would guess.
Yeah.
Um, it was, this and the series, it was all like heavy, heavy, often rentals,
Yeah.
and then also, how like a lot of people would, make like, recorded like VHS copies off like stuff that was on like HBO or on TV or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, Again, I was always, cycling through Child's Play, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Candyman movies, all when I
Hmm.
was like 6, 7 years old, way too young for
Hmm.
that shit. And again, it was nightmare fuel because I didn't sleep a lot when I was a
No.
child, and it was because of that. Yet I kept engaging it, I kept watching
Oh,
these
yeah.
movies. Um, it's funny how this movie, watching it now, it is the one I probably not necessarily remember the least, but when I just like think of Chucky in the series, I probably go back to this one maybe fewer times. There's definitely, I would say, at least three others that
Hmm.
my Chucky memory bank usually, comprises of, so to speak. Right. But
Yeah. I would agree.
this movie's just a fucking classic. Um, I also thought it was weird that it had the mom from Seventh Heaven in it.
Catherine Hicks. I
Yeah,
love her.
she's great.
Hmm.
This movie and the series, I think, is most closely associated with Don Mancini, who did the screenplay for this one, the screenplay and the story by credit. Um, Directed and also co-written by Tom Holland, industry
Hmm.
legend as well. Have we
For
given
sure.
Don Mancini an industry legend yet? Because obviously,
No, this is the first time that we've encountered him, so he gets one now.
industry legend Don Mancini,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah, Tom Holland and Don Mancini, both industry legends.
Tom Holland for the back to back of like this and Fright Night. Fuck.
Hmm.
I don't know. He's dope. Um, and then also learning about, just I mean, going through a Wikipedia scroll, um, made quite a bit of significant and lasting changes to the script and to the characters.
Hmm.
Um, Don Mancini's original story, it was like Batteries Not Included. I think it also was renamed Blood Brothers at some point because they were
I
just
don't like
like,
that one. I like
I
batteries not included.
like that better too. Yeah, the Blood Brothers thing was weird because yeah, I don't know, had something to do with like a doll that bleeds and him mixing his blood with Andy's, and I
I
don't
don't
know what
like
that's going
that.
on about. Um, and was really more of a, I guess, like a response to advertising and its effects on children. I mean, gosh,
Mhm.
we're both children of the 80s and 90s. Like, I feel like we got it like the worst in terms of
Oh,
all the product placement, all of like just cartoons that existed solely for the purpose to sell a toy. There
hmm.
was no toy based off a show. It was often the show was based off this toy. And they would turn everything into cartoons. It was really
Oh yeah. I mean, we got it the worst, but we also got it the best. Like some of those cartoons were fun, and the commercials in the 90s for toys and like the jingles were on and popping. So it was the best and worst of times.
it is kind of fucked up to like unlock weird memories if you like put on, they put together these like YouTube compilations of like commercials from 1993, and you're just like, and it goes through the whole year. And of course, like I love all the I was watching like some of the Halloween like
Mm-hmm.
season like commercials and shit like that for like toys and whatever was on, Fox Kids or whatever the fuck. And and I get it, it's a nostalgia trip a little bit. I try not to dip too deep into that. But this movie, gosh, is just it's just fun. And even like watching it the other night and taking notes, I'm like, this movie is not to show my cards just yet, but like
Mhm.
even if it was the only one in the series, like what a beautiful novel, wacky
Yeah.
caper, you know?
Yeah.
Like so much fun. Like I feel like I hope everyone was having fun making this movie because watching it, it really seemed like it. Like Chris Sarandon's like really like hamming this up big, and I love it. Same with
Chris,
Catherine
did
Hicks, who
we give, sorry to interrupt, did we give Chris Sarandon an industry legend award when we did Fright Night?
I hope we did, and if not,
If not, let's make it clear.
welcome to the
Chris
team.
Sarandon, industry legend, still eating it up with his wardrobe.
I have it. It's my first note for the opening is the
That
sweaters.
turtleneck with the leather jacket.
God, the clothes they put him
God,
in,
he looks
always looking
so
great.
fucking good in a sweater.
I love that.
We could talk about that for an hour.
100%. Um, but yeah, gosh, Catherine Hicks, her and Andy's performances, I think are really strong. Like I feel
I
for her.
believe it.
I was watching this the other night with my wife, who I don't think had seen this one. I
Oh,
made
wow.
the sore mistake of starting with Seed of Chucky, showing her
Yeah,
that. Uh, that's
bad call. We can't talk about it,
I
but
can't
it's
talk
not the
about
one to
it.
start with. It's not the one to
It's
start with.
Yeah, if you want to immediately scare someone away from the franchise, start with that one.
Hmm.
Um, but just watching it and her being like, she's not gonna die, is she? Because this seems like a lot already. Like we were thinking of
Poor Andy, so traumatized.
before Hereditary and the Babadook, there was fucking Karen.
Yeah,
Just this poor, like, I guess
doing her
originally
best.
she was like an advertising exec, and it took place in the suburbs in like a bigger, nicer house. I like that they make this very like working class, like she's a single
Hmm.
mom in an apartment. I mean, don't get me wrong, still a very nice apartment in
Yeah,
Chicago.
I relate so hard though with like Karen and Andy's situation. I'll talk about that as we go through it.
And then Andy, fuck, Alex Vincent, who has stayed with this franchise the longest, technically. But
Hmm.
that little kid can kill it. Like there was one part where um no one believes him, and he's locked in that crazy child jail, and I was never entirely sure.
Yeah, I
And
wasn't sure what it was either.
the doctor just doesn't believe him that Chucky's coming, and then he just starts crying, saying no one will believe him, and he just kind of slinks down and just starts crying. And I was like,
Yeah,
"Fuck, I'm with you." I'm like, I'll
yeah,
believe anything you say, kid. But
yeah.
yeah, I, I don't know. Can I say industry legend Alex Vincent
Yeah,
just for this?
absolutely. Yeah, I'm making a list. Don't worry.
Yeah, and
Um,
and if
great.
we want to offer it to Catherine Hicks too, I'm fine with that.
Maybe. I'll
Maybe.
think about it.
Yeah, it'd be great to see her come back. I do spoil that Alex Vincent does show up at some point again, but
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah,
I mean, even if he didn't, he's still been like actively involved in like conventions and things like that even before he came back to the franchise. So
yeah.
he definitely not takes advantage, but like he knows that there's like a want for fans to see him.
Let's see. You've got Dinah Manoff as Maggie.
Is
A good
lovely.
friend. I think she's
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Colvin is Dr. Ardmore. Tommy Swerdlow is Jack, who's Chris Sarandon's partner.
Yeah.
Uh, Neil should have done this before, should have practiced this before. Guintoli as Eddie Caputo. Um, and then I think we must have given Brad Dourif an Industry Legend Award at some point,
We
but oh,
did.
probably for Urban
Urban
Legend
legend. Yeah.
very early
But
on.
he needs to be re-awarded an industry legend award because like this is his bread and butter. Like this is a big one for him.
it is, I just can't think of, I don't know, like I'm even okay with, obviously anyone can play Jason, anyone could play Michael Myers.
Hmm.
Um, I'm okay with someone else doing Freddy Krueger. Like, I mean, Jackie Earle Haley, like whatever, but he
Hmm.
technically was not the worst part of that movie.
Oh no,
Um,
not at all.
and I think I've said something to this degree already on the show, but I just cannot imagine any other voice
Hmm.
being Chucky. Like, I feel like that dude is so synonymous with that little fucking doll
Yeah.
that I don't know. I just
To
don't think I could accept another voice,
It's
you
to
know?
the point where if you see him in anything else, when you hear him talking, I'm just hearing Chucky. It doesn't matter like how he's speaking. Like I'm hearing Chucky. I see Chucky. If I close my eyes, I can picture Chucky when he's speaking. Like it's yeah, his I mean, we'll get there, but like his voice work of Chucky in this movie, I don't think fully came into fruition of who, like, what it would become. But his voice acting and like his screaming and just everything that he puts into this, like he's giving it his fucking all, and it makes even parts of this movie that don't work, if that makes sense.
Definitely. I like that he has his toy voice, the Hidey Ho, ha ha ha. But I know
Yeah.
that's not Brad Dourif doing
No,
that
no.
voice. But I am glad that they allow him to have his Charles Lee Ray voice. So when
Hmm.
he's normally Chucky, he's talking like this.
Yeah.
Um, there were a couple people they tried out to do the voice before they landed on Brad
Oh,
Dourif. I
who
think
else?
Tom Holland really wanted Brad Dourif, I think from the get-go, because they'd worked
Hmm.
together before, but Brad Dourif wasn't available. Um, fucking Jessica Walter, Lucille Bluth from Arrested
Oh,
Development.
yes. I've read that before. That would be interesting.
There's existing recording of her doing Chucky's lines. That's really
What?
interesting. I'd love to hear that. If anyone has any access to that, I have
Ooh,
not
I'll
done
try to
any
find
search
it.
for it.
Okay.
But yeah, I just fuck. I Chucky's so fucking rad. And as a character, he's so fucking rad.
Hmm.
Right there with, I would say, personal favorite, like even like above Jason and Michael Myers, to see because
Oh,
he has more
yeah.
of the personality, but
So
and
much personality.
he doesn't grate on me quite like
Hmm.
sometimes Freddy Krueger can.
Hmm.
In some of the sillier entries, I still think
Hmm.
ultimately, I don't know what it is. I'll watch these movies over and over and over again, and I still just have that low, just gotta chuckle, like just
Yeah.
hearing that little fucker talk. I love him.
Yeah. It's really great. Like, and they go really hard with the like the profanity in this one, like right off the bat, just to show you like Chucky really doesn't fuck around. So I appreciate the humor of Chucky, the resourcefulness of him. Like he has to be so strategic in how he moves and how he manipulates. Like it's really fun.
That is something interesting about Chucky, is that it is a very key way how this dude operates as a doll,
Hmm.
right? Is you got to be sneaky. It's the element of surprise. Um,
Hmm.
though I do love that we're barely halfway through and Karen knows that Chucky's evil, like I'm
Yeah.
glad that they didn't draw that out. I think
Hmm.
in some of the original scripts it was much more, yeah, like I said, drawn out, and where it was
Hmm.
really ambiguous, like
No.
whether it was Chucky or
Car
not. Like,
Karen's a
yeah,
good mom. I've got like a whole list of reasons why she's a good mom. So she's great.
I don't know if I completely understand, like, how strong is this little doll? Because I know he's
Oh
possessed by a
no.
serial killer, but he is becoming allegedly more and more human, I guess, as the movie goes on. That's the other thing we'll talk about. These rules.
They change a bit.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll change. So the rules that we know in this movie will evolve. I won't say how, but it's interesting.
So like, if this little doll's running at you at full speed and like, can it tackle you to the ground, do you think?
Okay, let's first start with how tall do we think Chucky is? 3 feet?
Like, yeah, 3 feet.
Probably about 3 feet. Okay. So let's say he's 3 feet. And he's made out of plastic from the start. Like, so when he's just completely a doll, no human possession of any kind, he's made
Hmm.
out of plastic and stuffing and whatever makes him talk. So he's got like a battery thing. He's got like little microchips or whatever the fuck they used in the 80s to make dolls talk. So he's got all of that. So I would say Chucky probably doesn't weigh more than what, like 15 pounds. That kid's got to be able to hold him. 10 pounds when he's not possessed by a human.
True.
Okay. So from there, we know that he starts to become more human, which would then put more weight on him. At 3.5 feet, I'm just thinking about like when my son was 3.5 feet. He was probably about maybe no more than 30 pounds, like 40 pounds, maybe.
3.5 feet, 40 pounds. It feels like he should be weighing more than that. I
I
don't know.
mean, well, no, I mean, at nine, at 4 feet, he's 60 pounds.
Oh, I guess I'm not, yeah, I don't know.
It's
My,
hard. It's hard with kids, but like I'm just thinking about this doll and I'm like, okay, so he'd be like pretty like stout. I just don't see his strength being able to like tackle a full grown person. Like for me, as like a 5 foot tall woman, it might be a challenge. Like if something that size like ran up to me. But for you, as like a grown ass man, like what is Chucky gonna do if he doesn't surprise you? I don't think that he could get you to the ground.
that's true. It feels like he's just, Karen puts up like it's quite a even fight for a little bit. Like when they're
Yeah.
just wrangling together and he's like screaming and trying to stab and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think just the whole thing would just put me so off.
Well, and I think what
That's his angle, I guess.
yeah, I think what we're forgetting, as I like said all of that, I'm like talking like in scientific terms. I'm like, this is magic that is happening. Like this is supernatural things. So
Yes,
he could be stronger than his size. Like he could have superhuman strength even, right?
suppose so. I just wanted to think I just never really took the time to sit and think about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely haven't either because they make little convenient ways of getting people down to the ground. They trip, he'll slice their leg, a car wreck, whatever it is that's, getting them down to the ground, a voodoo doll. So he finds his ways.
This opening, it's the only time in a Child's Play movie, or at least I think, that Brad Dourif is actually like in it, not just doing a
Hmm.
voice.
Yeah, it's
So
nice to see him in
I
that nice
know.
oversized 80s trench coat.
I love that. I like that
Mhm.
everything. It was just that late 80s, like downtown, or sorry, urban downtowns just like looked like uh, like Batman. It was just this
Yeah,
weird, like everyone had gross teeth and everything was just kind of grimy. So I
yeah.
just assumed like that's just like what like city life was like.
Hmm.
People just running up and down the streets, just having shootouts whenever. Gosh. I watched Ghost the other week and for like actually the first time, and it was kind of similar too. I was like, did
Yeah,
all they shot on like the same exact streets? Well, I guess one's Ghost is New York, this is Chicago,
this is Chicago. Yeah.
but still. Um, Again, Tom Holland in that sweater. No, it's not Tom Holland. I'm so sorry. Chris Sarandon in that sweater. Just
He
looking
looks so
good.
good.
I wonder if gosh, just opens his wardrobe and he's just like, I'm gonna kill that fucking strangler tonight. I'm gonna put on like the nicest like slacks and that sweater and that leather jacket. Does
Yeah.
his hair just right. That dude, he's great.
And he's like, I got my fluffy 80s hair. I got my cable knit sweater. I'm gonna layer it because it's cold.
So I like how they opened just right with this chase.
Yeah.
Because you really don't need to have much to explain. Like, yeah, I mean, you'll find out a little bit later. I'm like, oh, how is he doing all of this like weird voodoo Damballa stuff? But whatever.
Hmm.
You're introduced to Eddie, who
Oh man.
Eddie, man, fucking dick, dude, drove out and
He
abandoned him.
he drove out way too fast. Like he still had a little bit more time to wait. If he would have waited even seconds longer, then none of this movie would have happened and poor Andy wouldn't have been traumatized. So Eddie is really the villain here.
Sure, I like that. I like that line of logic. Um, so you've got Charles Lee Ray, your Lakeshore Strangler. I do appreciate that Chucky, even with his little hands and his little digits, little fingers, still tries to strangle a little bit. I'm
Oh
glad that he
yeah.
doesn't abandon his roots. I know he has
Yeah,
to get more
that's
creative to kill people, but I
yeah,
like
he
that.
he comes up with creative ways. But yeah, you're right. He does still try to strangle a little bit.
He's being chased. He goes into a toy store. Um, I feel like outside of, I forget, what's that famous one that's in New York?
Oh, Feo Schwartz.
Yeah, right. Really, like, that's the other thing. Like, the era of toy stores is over. I guess we can thank um, fucking Jeff Bezos for that. But
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing when I was watching this. I was like, damn, that toy store is beautiful and it's huge. How big is this toy store that Chris Sarandon can hear him screaming but can't find him?
yeah. Well,
Like,
I mean, you go into like an old Toys R Us, like they're those big box stores, they're pretty big,
I guess
you know.
so. Yeah, it's a large store.
He fatally shoots Charles Lee Ray. He mentions it by almost speaking to the camera. I'm dying. And then he's like, "Ooh, I learned a thing about eternal
Hmm.
life." And at least, like, I guess he could have. I don't know if he could have grabbed any toy because I don't know how that works. I mean, because like, what if he grabbed like one of those like ukuleles that were hanging up, like, and just said, "All right, I'm gonna be a ukulele now." Like, could
Of
he do
course he's
that?
gonna pick something that can actually like walk around.
Well, definitely, but luckily he was also close by the dolls. I mean, that's what I would pick too, definitely. But I was just
Yeah.
curious.
I would assume it has to at least have like human-like qualities. Like it could be an animal or like something that has legs, like something that would be not an inanimate object of like what it's pictured, you know?
And obviously, even an inanimate object wouldn't be his first choice, I think, if there was,
Yeah, he was
you know.
desperate.
And then if he puts himself in the body of Andy, he still has the brain, the soul, and the spirit of Charles Lee Ray, right?
Hmm.
So if he puts himself, say, like in an infant, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking, can he talk
Oh,
as an infant?
that's an interesting question because even
Can he
even going
control his,
into
bodily functions, or we still need a diaper? Or like, does this infant like come potty trained because he's possessed by a 40-year-old man?
Hmm. That's something I've never thought about. I didn't even think about that, like him taking over the body of a 6-year-old boy, because your brain development is completely different. So I would assume that it would go full magic the same way that with the doll. Maybe he starts off like 6-year-old boy and then like the brain power like develops into how old is he? Maybe early 30s in this.
Let me ask you, if the Lakeshore Strangler were to, via voodoo, possess your favorite toy growing up, what would that toy have been?
That's a really good question. It would definitely be a Barbie, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would have
Hmm.
been the sexiest little serial killer. My Barbies were so hot.
He just stopped and be like, kind of feeling myself right now,
Yeah, I'm kind of cute.
Yeah. For me, I think it would be, probably some Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers
I knew
toys, I
it.
would
I was like,
assume.
it's gonna be a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah. Which I'm like, damn, then you give him like a little bow staff and shit. Like, ugh, it's dangerous.
I what I wonder is if you're choosing to put yourself in an inanimate object, like you are very certain that this is you're dying, you're in a desperate situation. And he says, I'm dying. But like, and that happens a lot in movies. Like, how does one know that they're dying? Because if you've ever had like food poisoning and you're like, I'm dying, I'm gonna die, and you think you're dying, but you're really not,
Yeah.
like, how do you really know? Like, how much would you have to feel that you're dying to put yourself into a doll?
Enough to communicate to the audience. But I mean, I guess I think, no, I don't know. I would think he would want to possess that doll even like if he was like, "Oh, I'm getting captured. Let me escape out of this doll." Can he do it
Maybe.
if he wasn't dying?
If he
Would he
wasn't
have?
dying, he could just knock out Chris Sarandon and jump right into him.
Yeah. Mm,
That'd be a good switch.
there you go.
He'd be a cop.
And then the clouds and the lightning and the giant
I love it.
explosions that that are caused by this body switcheroo. Not really a body switcheroo.
They really blew up that store.
Did they really?
It's not a real store, but like the exterior, that explosion is real. Like
That's pretty
they
fun.
blew it up. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I love all the effects in this movie. Of course, mostly like with Chucky. And I love how really like low budget where it's like that's clearly like a small person running around.
Yeah. There's
And
there's some shots that are pretty rough.
where I'm like, those are absolutely human, little human fingers,
Yeah.
that are opening that door from the other side, right? So yeah, so fuck. Chris Sarandon's like, all right, well, cool, all right, problem solved. Got it. Shot him, killed him.
Wait, something
What?
that's so important because this terrified me as a child is when he's yelling, like he's like screaming that he's gonna get him and that he's gonna
Yeah.
get Eddie, and he's like no ma and he does that no matter what, like really loud. He's like yelling. That scarred me as a child. Like I was like, oh my God, Chucky's gonna get me. It's like, so scary. I like just his yelling, how angry he is. I think Brad Dourif's voice, it like haunts me in this movie.
It's definitely scarier coming from a doll, I
Yes.
realized watching this, than coming from just Brad Dourif, but I hear you.
Hmm.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
gets a very it's a very scary yelling tenor.
Yeah. The other thing, I won't spoil any future films, but something that I think is really interesting about this one is that font choice for the title card, and as they're showing, they're putting everyone's names on the screen. It's very cute. Like it's a
Yeah.
very cutesy little font. Like it's not scary yet because it changes, but I just thought it was funny. It's the only one that has that like cute little very simple white font. Looks very 80s, like Macy's.
And I think all like the letter I's are like lowercase when the rest are
Uh-huh.
uppercase kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Kind of fun.
love it. So this is when we're introduced to Andy and his mother
Mm,
Karen. It's Andy's
Andy.
birthday. I think his sixth birthday,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
He's
know if
so
they say
fucking
that
cute
exactly,
though.
but he is cute. Oh my gosh. He makes a weird breakfast. It reminds me of I don't know. There was this movie called Strange Darling that came out last year,
Mm.
and there's just a very strange breakfast that's made in
Yeah.
that movie, and it just reminds me of just Andy just fucking sloshing around shit. I don't get me wrong. I also every time I made a bowl of cereal, I would put like a spoonful of sugar in there if
Oof,
it was
yeah.
available.
Yeah, that was very 80s, 90s. Like you put sugar on every cereal.
I love that. Even the sugary cereals. See, at least when I was
Yep.
putting sugar on cereal, it was just like normal ass Cheerios.
Or
You
like
know?
cornflakes.
Yeah, yeah.
My
Make that
grandma
shit
always bought
frosted.
cornflakes. She's like, I am not spending money on fucking Frosted Flakes. We're gonna frost them ourselves.
I I still don't know if the cost difference really, unless she likes the process of
I
frosting
think
them.
she liked cornflakes without sugar.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
so instead of, because then she'd have to buy the corn flakes and the frosted flakes. So if that's where the savings was that there was only one cereal. So yeah.
Got it. Got it. That makes sense. Who's just eating cornflakes? Just that's it on your own.
Oh my God, I love corn flakes now without sugar. I'll eat them.
Just with nothing. Yeah, I mean, I guess
Yeah,
it's just I just don't know what that. Yeah, I'm gonna describe that taste. I don't
it
know.
tastes like a flake of corn.
I guess so. Is that literally what it is?
No, it's just grains.
Oh, oh.
Yeah.
Well, they call it grain
A lot of
flakes.
fiber.
There you
Yeah.
go.
We're in our late 30s. We need to be keeping track of our fiber.
So, as much as I talk shit on a 6-year-old's ability to make breakfast, it is still pretty charming. And,
No, no, it is not.
what?
Uh,
Why not?
okay, I'll tell you why not. Love Andy. Cute as a button. But I'm gonna tell you right now, number
You
one,
don't
it's your birthday. Why are you making breakfast in bed for your mom? It's your birthday. I'm not making breakfast for anybody on my birthday. Second,
feel like that should be an attack on Karen rather than Andy, because that's how I was going to
okay,
frame it.
this is the thing. Andy has a single mother, a single working mother, as did I, who apparently doesn't wake up very early. Same situation. If I tried to make my mom breakfast and made that mess in the kitchen before school and before she had to go to work, oh, abso-fucking-lutely not. She would be furious. I would be furious. And of all that mess, you couldn't fire up that coffee machine? That's the most important thing. So Andy, very sweet, but that's the worst thing he does in this movie is make that breakfast. I would be so livid. So, so livid.
Oh my gosh. I bet if I asked your mom, she'd be like, oh, maybe now, she'd be like, oh, I think it would have been sweet.
Oh, she'd say that now.
Yeah. What was the other movie? The Ring. Just a weird kid who like, yeah, and he like, puts out her like clothes for her and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. If you have a single mom, it's so much like that. I knew how to make coffee. Like I would make my mom coffee. I would heat up the car, like because we lived in the snow, and like dig out the snow so I could get my ass to school on time because she was exhausted. Are you kidding? Like,
Yeah.
and meanwhile, Andy's over here spilling milk on the carpet.
Yeah.
Have you ever smelled dried milk on a on an absorbent surface?
No, but I bet it's terrible.
No, it's disgusting. It's
Yeah.
absolutely disgusting. So, maybe Andy has it coming.
Well, he's
No, that's
6,
not true.
so be
He's sweet.
kind.
He's sweet,
Yeah.
but yeah, fuck that mess.
It's his birthday, so give him some grace. He's watching Good Guys commercials, basically trying to sell these dolls. Basically, it's like the Tickle Me Elmo essentially
Mm,
of 1988. I don't know. What year
yeah.
was Tickle Me Elmo? Was that like late 90s?
No, mid 90s, I'd say. Right?
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So all he wants is a good guy doll for his birthday. Man, I see, this is why I'm like, I'm good not having kids because I just feel for Karen where she's like, what? I'm working as a department store clerk. I'm a single income. All I can afford is the tool set, but I'm
Hmm.
still gonna pay for the tool set, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and then, you can tell like Andy's like, he's grateful. He likes the tool set, but then he's like also, yeah, but I need a good guy doll to go with this. So like you're just getting me it's
Hmm.
like fuck. No, maybe not as bad as what was that dog? There's Turbo Man, and then there's the sidekick, and then the dog. Or maybe the sidekick was the dog. I can't remember. And Jingle All the Way.
Oh yeah, I don't remember the dog's name.
It's just fuck capitalism, you know? Because I just like I don't know to create this thing that kids have to need so bad, and then it just puts all these expectations on the parent, you know?
Hmm.
Um, Like, and that's my thing. I'm just like, gosh, if it weren't for capitalism, this movie wouldn't have happened. Like this,
Yeah.
or
And
I'm being
Eddie.
very broad about it, and Eddie. So it's a systems failure and an Eddie failure. This,
Well, does Andy know about the good guy doll before this commercial? Because the way he reacts is like, oh, it can say three phrases, and then he like, says his little lines, and Andy's like, holy shit, like this thing exists. Like his reaction is very much like, this is the first time I'm seeing this. Then they show it on the screen in the box, and he looks back at the wrapped box, the present, and the wrapped box, also known as a present. He looks back at it and he's like, oh shit, like that's the same size as that box. But I thought that was like the first time he had ever seen it. But Karen's over here, like, I know all you wanted was this doll. And I'm like, did
yeah,
you?
no, I think so. I think it seemed like the doll had like come out not too long ago. Um, it was probably like a near Christmas thing. I don't know because I mean there's
Yeah.
snow in the streets and stuff. The weather seems kind of all over the place, but yeah, it seems like it had been out for like maybe like a couple months at
Hmm.
most because I think she even said she was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't know it existed in time for me to save up enough money for it. So
Okay. So it's
here's the tool
very new.
set. Go go fix a leak. Happy birthday."
Um, and for reference, we find out later that Chucky or the good guy dolls cost $100. And so I looked it up for inflation um in 1988 versus today. So that'd be like paying over $200 for this good guy doll, which is a lot for one toy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, go get yourself a fucking Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's probably
Marlet.
right, 100%. And get one of those little Rob little fuckers that thing at least it's slow, so if it tries to kill you, it can't move fast and is only like a foot tall, you know.
I forgot that that existed until you said it just now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think early on they came like standard with Nintendos, or at
Yeah,
least
it's
like
pretty
very
fun.
early on. I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, also fuck Karen. Because
Why? I love Karen.
was that the only box she had was a good guy doll sized box to have a pair of child pants inside and nothing
That's
else?
true. Hey, she's a single mom making it work, okay?
No, I'm sure she was probably just like taking boxes from like the warehouse at the department store and being like, ah, this will
Yeah,
work, you know.
for sure.
But that's it. It's like the only box she has.
So, and also like this is a thing that parents like make this mistake all the time. Why are you wrapping clothes? Even if you got them the clothes for their birthday or Christmas or whatever it is, don't wrap them. Don't do it. Unless it's something specific that your child asked for or like it's on a theme. But if it's just like regular ass trousers, don't wrap the trousers. That's fucked up.
That is fucked up. I
Yeah.
think that's a pro tip. I like that.
Thank you.
If it's
My
socks or
parenting
some
tip.
shit, yeah, don't
Mm-mm.
present this as like a kick-ass present.
No,
Unless it's something
not.
like you said, they specifically ask for and want,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Like a starter jacket. If you ask for that, you wrap that shit.
Dude, starter jackets are so cool. That's also
I
very
know.
80s and 90s.
Uh-huh. They were so cool.
The challenge was, I remember as a kid, the fucking Chargers ones were fucking awesome, and the Padres ones were too. Um, but when are you gonna wear a fucking starter jacket in San Diego?
Oh, yeah. See, I grew up back east, so I actually got to wear mine. Can you guess what
Yeah.
team I asked for?
Um, can you tell me the sport? Is it football?
Football. Of course, it's football.
Mm,
My family's a football family.
Dolphins.
Yeah, it was Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Good job.
I mean, they've got the best color scheme in football.
Yeah, they do. They've got a good color scheme.
That teal and orange is pretty
Hmm.
hot. I like it. So,
Hmm.
and it's it's got that little fucking dolphin and he's wearing
He's wearing
a
a helmet.
helmet. So I'm glad he's being safe. That's good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it would have prevented any, concussions, right? Um, but yeah, good on that little dolphin. I like that they fashioned him a little helmet to wear. And I think that
Yep,
helmet even has a little dolphin on that too. So that's a little
that's even
strange. But
better.
yeah. So
I hope everyone's enjoying our trip through the 90s nostalgia for a movie that was from 1988.
so Andy's disappointed. And then, has to go to school. Later on, Karen's at work. This is when we're also introduced to Maggie, who's your coworker. Maggie just trying her best,
She's
unfair,
the best.
just a victim of, someone had to be the first, right? To be caught
I
off
love
guard.
Maggie.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think she's a really, yeah, I just like how she's a very supportive friend, a very confident friend. We're also introduced to Karen's boss, who's an absolute fucking prick, Mr.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Criswell.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also at the same time, like, gosh, I have been on the receiving end of that conversation with old bosses in retail saying, like, well, I don't care because the store has to open. Again, capitalism, just ugh.
That's
Um,
the whole that's the villain of the movie, really.
I think so too. I would have liked to see somehow Mr. Criswell get murdered, but
Ooh, they could have made that work. Like maybe, she leaves Chucky in the back room for a little bit before she heads home.
or like he gets all fucking huffing and puffing and shit because as all this chaos is happening, Maggie and Karen aren't showing up to work. So he goes and knocks on her door and says, like, where are
Mm,
you? And this and this and this. And then Chucky's there. Slice, slice,
surprise.
slice, motherfucker. Um,
I
so
like
what can you
that. I
do?
like that whole they could have added in a whole deleted scene.
100%. We should just, figure out a way just to, I don't know. We'll film it. We'll get it spliced in.
Yeah.
Um, Maggie also, hey, trying to be a good friend, lets her know, like, hey, look, it's a little bit in some rough shape, but hey, there's a dude. I like they keep calling him a peddler.
What is a peddler?
Well, it's just someone who sells stuff,
Okay, but like he
peddles wares.
doesn't. Like he just happens to have some things that he found and is selling.
Like I like that maybe in his community there he is like
The
the peddler.
store.
He is the
Yeah.
store. Yeah. So he's probably a one-stop shop, just everything in that cart, everything from
I love it.
so it's kind of a department store just right there in his cart, I would suppose.
Yeah.
Um, but also like, hey, that box is a little messed up, but
Hmm.
$30. That's not bad. The kid's gonna rip up that box immediately.
Yeah, who cares
What does it
about the
even matter?
box? Yeah, I feel bad. Like Karen is just so excited and like wanting to get this doll for Andy and just trying to be a good mom and she's about to get her best friend killed. Like it just that sucks. She's trying so hard.
I know. And this is what happens when you cave and try to please a child. Because you know what? That kid's gonna get over it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Kids
Yeah,
get
that's
over
true.
stuff all the time. They don't harbor anything and
Yeah, they're always
doesn't
gonna want
show up.
something. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
There's no trauma that shows up later.
100%. Um, so Karen's boss is, hey, fuck you. Someone called out, so you're gonna have to stay late
On your kid's birthday.
on your kid's birthday.
What a dick.
And then even then he was like, oh, he still even rolls his eyes when she's like, can I at least like go and like pick him up and then like take him home? Like, please, and then I'll come back. He's like, oh, I guess, whatever, whatever. Maggie's like, hey, I'm a friend. Even though she's like, I might, she might be a single woman, but she's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go babysit your kid tonight.
Hmm.
It'll be good. We'll still have a good birthday. I'm gonna eat that cake.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it. Um, and so she agrees, and then Karen stays. Now, in that brief time before she comes home, this is when she brings the Chucky doll home to Andy. Andy's fucking stoked.
Oh,
We
so excited.
think we learned from one of the commercials that all the good guy dolls have their own names and own kind of
Hmm.
personalities. Um, this little guy's name's Chucky. I love that.
Hmm.
But then he also like says, but he says that he's Chucky in the toy voice.
Hmm.
So was the doll always going to be named Chucky, even if someone named Charles was not possessing it?
No, and without spoiling anything from the future, I would guess that Charles Lee Ray can actually control what Chucky says in that voice. Like he can do his normal voice or the doll voice, and he can change the words
Love
with
that.
that voice. Yeah, it's a gift.
So Andy's stoked to get this doll. He's like, I
Mhm.
you can fuck off, mom. I don't care if you have to work tonight. She's like, I'm sorry I have
Yeah,
to work. He's like, I got my doll
he's
approved.
like,
I'm
plans
good.
are set. Yeah, he's so excited. But that's the thing, like that feeling of nailing it when you get your kid the gift that they want. Oh my gosh. It is like you're on cloud nine. So Karen is like, I fucking did it. I'm the world's best mom. Like Andy's like, I have the world's best mom. Like that's where capitalism really wins. Is those gift giving moments, man. Like that kid is so happy. He'll remember that moment forever. I mean, he's going to remember a lot of this forever, but
Yeah. I was gonna say though, is it good? Because
it's his
chasing that
last happy
high,
moment.
yeah, that is true. Probably that
Yeah.
child's last happy moment was getting that
Yep.
doll, thinking it was just a normal ass doll.
Uh-huh.
So we go that night. Maggie's there babysitting. The news is on, talking about, Charles Lee Ray, the Lakeshore Strangler being
Hmm.
killed, this and this and this and this. Already shit is afoot.
Hmm.
That doll's already telling Andy shit. He's already moving around. After they get tucked into bed, he's
I
coming out and puts the
know.
TV on.
Doesn't even give him a chance to like get attached. Like I'd be like, I should probably act like a normal doll for like one day.
Yeah, just give it a day. But no,
A
absolutely
day.
not. Just
Yeah,
to
he
try it
does
out.
he
Maybe I
doesn't
like being
care.
a doll.
Yeah, maybe he likes it.
Yeah, like maybe
Just
this
a
is a nice thing.
just a grown man sleeping in this kid's bed.
100%.
That's all I
Um,
can think about.
if I were Maggie and this kid is insistent that Chucky went out to the living room and turned on that TV himself,
Hmm.
now would I believe him immediately? Maybe not,
Hmm.
but I want to keep my bases covered. And I would say, look, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a weapon and we're going to sit here all night and we're going to watch this doll, okay, until your mom gets
I,
home.
I thought you were gonna go in a completely different direction, like lock him in a closet or something.
Yeah, that'd be one way to do it. I'd be like, hey, can we lock him up tonight?
So that
I
he's
don't
not
think,
get like you could make it a game, like, like I don't want him to be sneaky, like, so he's
yeah,
gonna
we can
have to
make a
go in the
bed for him.
closet. Yeah, like he'll be cozy in there, and then just you when he goes to sleep, then you've got your weapon just right outside that closet. Also, Maggie's the world's best babysitter because not only is she babysitting Karen's kid, she's also doing the dishes. Like, come on. This poor woman does not deserve what she has coming to her. She's too wonderful. And her outfit, the wardrobing in this movie, by the way, is really good.
Hmm.
Like, Karen's outfit is so hot and 80s and fantastic.
Maggie's outfit. I know what you
Oh,
mean, though.
Maggie's outfit. Yes, but Karen's outfits are great too. But Maggie's
Yeah.
outfit is better.
So, alas, she does not make it much longer. Like I said, Chucky starts fucking around and leaving evidence like pretty easily. But again, he's just like, what? What, they're
I'm a
gonna think the
doll.
fucking doll did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Grabs that hammer from that toolkit, which is like looks like a real hammer that's given to children. That's
I was wondering,
interesting.
I was like, is that a real hammer?
It looks like it. Like I've had those like toy like toolkits, and it's just like a plastic little, not even like, I don't even think it was like full plastic. I think it was like hollow in the inside, like a just a plastic little
Yeah.
dumb thing.
I mean, you could
So
like ouch, like kind of hurt your head if you like hit yourself with it, but like that thing goes through her eye Like it's got the
Yeah.
weight of a real hammer.
Dude, she just falls right back, crashes through the window, and flies out to her death. That
Oof,
sucks.
that sucks. Yeah, R.I.P. Maggie. That's sad.
Especially just because as hard as stuff was for Karen, like the really consistent, great, I'll never judge you.
Hmm.
I'm your fucking, hype person, Maggie was such a good friend and so supportive. And
Yes.
man, killing Maggie's hard. I just feel bad. Like just now, I think just in my 30s, just watching this, being like, what? It's just so sad. These people are just trying to get by. I
I
know what it's
know.
like to
I know.
live paycheck to paycheck, and you're just like, fuck. Why is this
Yeah.
dog gonna be such a little asshole?
Yeah, that's the funny thing about watching this as an adult, because as a kid you're like, damn, Chucky's gonna come for me and he's gonna hunt me and try to kill me and take my body. But when you're an adult, you're like, damn, poor Karen. Like her kid's gonna be traumatized, her best friend is dead. Now she's gonna have to pay for childcare. Like
Yup.
she's so fucked.
So, Karen gets off work, comes home,
Oh no.
and sees that it's all a crime scene. Obviously, first, like, yeah, let's find Karen, but then also, of course, she starts running and checking for Andy because she doesn't know what
Hmm.
the fuck happened. Um, yeah, whole thing's pretty rough. They call it homicide pretty quick on this one because Chris Sarandon's there
Chris Sarandon is so insensitive to what's going on.
a little
He's like,
bit.
yeah, Maggie, she's dead. Pretty sure your son killed her.
Like, obviously, nobody wants to immediately accuse the child, I suppose, but I don't know. No one else was in the house. There's no signs of forced entry. There's
I mean, she could have
little
just fell out
pitter
the
patter
window.
footprints with it.
It
Yeah, I don't know.
slipped.
I don't know
Oh, but the
if there was
hammer.
still the hammer like part.
Yeah.
If they can differentiate whether or not that was the hammer. Well, I guess the hammer's left behind, so with some blood on it, so that's evidence. It
Yeah.
looked like murder.
And it hit her eye, so the damage is there.
I'd hope there's more people in that murder unit or homicide unit because I'm thinking like, look, Maggie's great, but I don't know how many murders happen in the Chicago area on
Yeah.
a weekly, monthly basis. Like, I don't know if he's responding to literally every single one of them. Like, I get Charles
Yeah.
Lee Ray going after like a serial killer,
Hmm.
but the Lakeshore Strangler, but here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also it's kind of weird, like at the very end, before she makes him leave, um, he like almost like kind of like half flirts with her a little bit. Did you get that weird interaction where it was almost like Sigourney Weaver kicking Bill Murray out of her apartment in Ghostbusters? Like kind of towards the
Oh.
end, he's like, you know, why not see you again?
I think you just think Chris Sarandon is sexy, and so he
And Bill
just can't
Murray.
help it. Yeah, and Bill Murray, so he just can't help it. Be a little flirty, a little sassy.
You know, that's the other thing watching Ghostbusters. And my wife's like, were we supposed to believe that she finds him attractive?
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, not really.
Yeah.
You just kind of go with it. It's Bill
Yeah.
Murray,
Yeah.
you know. Because Sigourney Weaver is a fucking smoke show,
Oh,
not just in
yeah.
that movie, but just in general.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Andy tells the detective it's Chucky, like, hey, look, I know he said he'd kill me if I said anything, but kids, trust me, you can
Yeah.
tell a kid, I'll kill you if you tell someone. And kids still cannot keep a secret. They'll tell somebody.
You're so fucking dumb. Trust me.
But obviously, no one's believing that it's this doll. Because I think he also sees the shoe little footprints. And the thing is, because they're both, Chucky and Andy are both wearing the good guy garb with the little sneakers and the overalls and shit. So I wonder, it would have been interesting for them to play with that a little bit more, that they were dressed the exact same. Like maybe if there was like a witness and they saw what they thought was Andy because they were wearing the same thing, if they really wanted to play into this idea. Because I know, like I said in the original script, there was a lot more ambivalence in terms of who was the killer, Andy or Chucky, but and they bring it up really just to bring it up for a minute, and it doesn't really. I guess it kind of goes somewhere because they still kind of think it's Andy
But
for a
we
little bit, but
know, like as the audience, though, you know, so that's what's, silly about it. But I mean, those footprints are so tiny and like Andy's feet are bigger than Chucky's feet.
yeah.
So I mean, they're not, it's not his shoes. So I think that was a little silly.
Karen's like, you need to stop saying that this is about this fucking
Yeah.
doll, and this doll's doing this. Um, she's like, let's just go to bed. Let's just wash this day off us.
It's very 80s
We're gonna,
parenting to be like, you just witnessed a murder. I'm gonna need you to go to bed.
yeah,
Take your fucking killer doll with you.
yeah. I'm gonna go board up this window because there's gonna be a fucking draft in here. It's just gonna be
Yeah, we're in
cold.
Chicago.
Chicago and whatever floor that was on.
Oh,
It's like third or eighth or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. I'd never seen apartment building like hallways like that.
Oh, really?
They were more like kind of like platforms and stuff, and then with that type of elevator. Oh, is that something you're familiar with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
I just think it looked cool.
yeah, because in California, I mean, they're very open because everything is like partially outdoors, but when it's fucking
Yeah.
freezing, like once you get in through that front door, you want to be, if you brought groceries or something, go through the elevator inside, walk through your hallway inside so you're not just icy.
But it wasn't like it was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Because it wasn't like necessarily like there were hallways. It was all very like open. You could like look up and see somebody walking to their apartment, 3 floors up, if you
Yeah.
looked up. It was a very open floor plan
Those
there
are
in the
very
middle.
East Coast, like
Yeah.
city. Hmm.
Um, she hears Andy talking to Chucky in bed, and she's like trying to listen in.
Hmm.
Chucky's not a fucking idiot though. He
Oh,
sees
he's
her
hamming it
shadow under the
up.
door.
Hmm.
Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, I'm Chucky. Let's let's hug it out.
I like to
Hidey
be
ho.
hugged.
Ha
Yeah.
ha ha." I just something just fucks me up every time he just the Hidey ho. Ha ha ha. It's so good.
It scares the shit out of me.
It does. I know. It's so bad. Um, so obviously
I,
Karen's like, this kid's crazy. What am I gonna do with myself?
well, and he says that Chucky said that his dead dad sent him from heaven. Like,
So good. So
Chucky, that's
terrible.
so fucked up. And that Aunt Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved. I can't imagine. Like, if my son said that, I'd be like, oh my God, where did you learn this?
So, poor Karen. So the next day, she's taking Andy to school. Um,
The day after
yeah,
witnessing a murder, because she's a working mother and has no other fucking choice. She's like, you're good, right? You're good.
literally, my childcare was murdered. And then even then, Maggie was filling in a pinch.
Yeah, yeah,
So come on, just please, like again, like let's invest in some universal childcare. Come on.
absolutely.
You can't just rely on, or don't fucking defund fucking public schools because public schools are historically fucking childcare for people. Like, so
Hmm.
hey,
Yeah,
everybody, get your values in line or Chucky's
yeah,
gonna come and get you.
yeah. Very, very thankful to the San Diego Unified School District for having after school care. It is extremely helpful. So,
And I am thankful for the Seattle Unified School District, even though I don't have children, I pay taxes
yeah,
into it. Good for them. It's
it's
a
worth it.
common good.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to ditch this elementary school. Like he doesn't even, I don't think he
It's
even
the
puts his whole
80s.
body. Yeah, he doesn't even put his whole body through the doorway. He's like turning right around and says like,
Yeah,
"All right, guess I'm leaving." I'm
yeah.
surprised with him accusing Chucky of, well, bringing up that Chucky was killing people and this and this and this. I'm surprised she let him take that doll to school. Maybe there was an
Mm-mm.
argument that
Oh,
morning and he was just refusing.
I would have left that doll at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because I would have loved to see him wreak some havoc in that fucking school. That would have been fun too.
Yeah.
But Chucky's like, I got bigger fish to fry. We gotta go
Yep.
find my buddy
Got
Eddie.
revenge. Oh,
Yeah.
Eddie.
Still 80s. Do you think anyone would have stopped that child taking public transit in Chicago?
That's the thing. I'm like, he's pretty fucking young,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like,
I'm busy. I
I
got shit to
mean,
do.
yeah, like I was a latchkey kid. So like I was by myself when I was 6 at home, but like, I wasn't taking public trans like on my own. Like it was the bus would drop me off and I'd go straight to my house. But like, I mean, maybe people just didn't really give a shit, you know?
I mean, now watching this movie, like say if I were on the train or on a bus or something and I see a little kid and a good guy doll, I'd be like, I'm not talking to that fucking kid.
No, I'm leaving that kid be. I'm not getting involved.
Who knows if that doll is fucking possessed and telling him to do shit? Like
Mm-mm.
maybe I'll like keep an eye out from afar, but no, thank you.
I
He'll
wouldn't
figure
even
it
look
out.
too hard. Mm-mm. Catch eye contact with Chucky? No, thank you. I don't even want to be on his radar.
And it isn't even just one line. He makes a couple transfers to get to Eddie's place.
Okay.
Um, but again, also, yeah, public transit. Invest in it.
So that the 6-year-olds can take it on their own with their possessed dolls.
Yeah, 100%. So they make it to Eddie's place. I don't know if Eddie's just like squatting in this house or if he
I,
owns this house.
I
I
think
don't
he's
know.
squatting in it because it looks very much abandoned and there's rats and like that's a good looking gun that Eddie
Yeah.
has. So I feel like he's like hiding out.
Yeah, he put all his money towards the gun.
Yeah, and obviously Chucky knew that that was like a place where they would hide out, I would think.
Yeah, abandoned but still has like working gas. Sure.
Yeah,
Again, like I said, since it's a little doll, you'd be
creative
expecting
way.
some creative deaths like this.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, sorry, Eddie, it's what you get, dude. You're
Why
done.
does he just shoot at the oven though? Like he opens the door and just shoots?
Yeah.
Because Chucky wasn't in there, obviously, if it blew up.
Right. You don't see how Chucky got out.
Mm-mm.
Um, and that was a hell of an explosion. Lots of explosions in this movie
Yeah,
so far for
yeah,
for
it's
just this
great.
little doll.
Yeah.
Um, and then with how close Andy was to that house too, given the size of the explosion.
Well, he started walking away right before the house exploded too.
The police show back up after this. Then they
Mhm.
find Andy in this
Oh,
doll,
Andy.
and they're like, Andy, what are you
What the
doing out
fuck?
here? What the fuck? And why are you in the vicinity of another murder? What's going on?
I would definitely think it was Andy if I were the detectives. I'd be like, oh, this kid is on a murder spree.
100%.
Yeah.
Um, so Karen gets called in and she's like, yeah, I got here as soon as I could. What's going on? And then he's like, well, you know, we've got your kid in custody.
And they're interrogating him without his mother present.
Yeah.
He's a child. I don't think that that's okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the rules are with children. I know at least in Washington, they passed some legislation where you cannot um, interrogate a minor
It's like
without representation, which makes sense.
it may
I
not
know
have been
sometimes,
that way in 88, but I think there's quite a few states have that law.
yeah, much to the chagrin of some police officers I've spoken to about it, but it's kind of like,
Of
well,
course. Yeah.
there's like, sure, maybe I get like one sliver part of where you're coming from, sure, I guess, but also,
They're
I don't know.
children and
Yeah,
you can
they need
scare the shit out of
protections.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. So Andy's still saying it's Chucky. He's like, look,
He's telling
if
the truth,
anything,
man.
I'm telling the truth. I'm being consistent.
Yeah.
It's this little fucking doll. He says his name's
Yeah.
Chucky. He says Eddie's a fuck. So we went and saw Eddie. I don't know. What do you want me to do? I went and fucking peed like in out in the junkyard. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, I left for 2 seconds and this motherfucker's blowing up houses. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Give me another, return this good guy doll. Well, you can't because you brought it from that peddler. But um, the psychiatrist is just like, ugh, well, how about we hold on to Andy for a little bit? Um, we're gonna evaluate him, talk with him a little bit because I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily. Okay, like yeah, if it weren't for the fact that two murders happened,
Hmm.
a kid saying that his doll is talking to him like is not like the most like out of left field thing. Like that doesn't mean like,
No, I
oh, this
mean,
kid's crazy. No.
even if, even if he didn't murder anyone, being that close to those murders could make him, like really like attached to this doll and see it as a source of comfort. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that he's murdering people just because he's blaming it on the doll. Like, what if it was Karen and that's his way of coping and he's like, "No, the doll's doing it?" I think it's so sad when Karen is like, "Andy, like I need you to start telling the truth or they're going to take you away from me." And this poor kid is like, I am. I'm telling you the truth. Like this is the truth. So Andy's trying to do the right thing and then still ends up getting taken away from mom. It's terrible.
So like in the span of 24 hours, Karen has had to work overtime, had to work late. Maggie's dead,
Oh.
and her son's taken from her. She's got broken window, and she's still got a dried ass milky carpet.
Oh,
If I
Karen.
were her, I would have cracked at that point.
I would have been crying. I
It's
would have
too
been
much.
sobbing in the car.
Yeah. So she has to leave her child. She goes home. She's like, I don't know what the fuck to do. She has this fucking doll with her, and she's like, I appreciate where she was like, shit's gotten wild enough as it is.
Yeah.
Let's try to make this doll talk. Let's like
Yeah.
I'm she at least believes him. There's a chance that he is telling the truth. Come on, like or maybe she's more just like wishful thinking like
I appreciate that she's that way. I mean, and obviously I have the context of these movies, but like if my son was like telling me that one of his toys was like up to no good and all this shit was happening around me, I would definitely consider it. Like I would be doing the same thing as her. I would be like, "All right, you little fucker. Like let's get to talking. Like come on." Absolutely.
and Chucky being a little dipshit, of course, like isn't falling for it,
Hmm.
But and then this is our reveal. I appreciate that she learns about this earlier on too, because when it's like
Yeah.
just Andy, and this is my thing with horror movies too, sometimes where like you have like a kid and no one believes the kid, and it goes on for
Yeah.
so long, and you're like, okay, like let's move this
It's a
along.
lot. Yeah.
She picks up the box to be like, what, trying to glean anything that she can, to understand any of this, and turns the box over, and the fucking batteries fall out, Natalie.
Every time that happens, I get chills. Like the way that she
Yeah.
reacts when she sees those batteries, my heart would like fall out of my stomach. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Oh my gosh. Because
I'd be like, there better
then
be two sets of batteries. There better be two sets of batteries. That's the extra set, and the other set comes inside that doll. Like it's already there. That's that. But I would have to believe that.
I do appreciate when toys like do kids a solid by including the batteries.
It's so rare.
I know. Because also, like, who the fuck buys batteries anymore?
No, I just had this problem this morning. This fucking race car Lamborghini. I was like, oh, cool. It has a rechargeable battery. And then he hands me the controller. He's like, oh, but you need AA batteries for this. And I was like, oh, fuck. I don't have AA batteries. So now I have to go
So
get them.
dumb. Hmm. I wish I wasn't however many thousand miles away because I was gonna say I still have like
You're
the
like, I have a ton.
Costco one that I'm like I'm not gonna use these 80 AA batteries.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, she sees that there's nothing in that
Ooh,
battery compartment in that doll.
it's about to get
And then he goes,
real.
and then you got the hi, I'm Chucky. Want to play, motherfucker?
Just his like backwards head too. Oh, so
Love that.
good. That's what I mean. He's good at like getting people real freaked out too. Like he wants you to think that you're losing it because that's where he gets an advantage.
Yeah. So I appreciate where she's like, hey, I'm gonna throw you in the fireplace and just
Yeah.
destroy you.
Yeah.
Um, I'll figure out something to say to my child. Why
Hmm.
I just destroyed this doll. Um, because even after that, like, he refuses to talk, even after she realizes the battery pack's not in there.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh.
I love that
Then he
she
comes
threatens
alive.
him.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just gonna fucking just set you on fire and just fucking kill you, motherfucker. Say something right fucking now. Which then he
Well,
finally
he sure
does.
does.
Yeah. I love that. Just like, oh, and then yeah, oh, when he's like screaming and shit. That
Yeah.
Brad Dourif just scream. Oh my
Oh my
God. You're
gosh.
right. Oh, too much.
Haunting. Yeah.
Chucky, they attack, they fight for like 2 seconds, but like, he attacks her, bites her
Hmm.
real fucking hard,
Oh yeah.
um, and then scurries off.
And his face looks so scary and so good. Like I can't
Yeah.
stress enough how good this fucking doll looks.
Also, and like, yeah, I like Chucky and I like his, mm, his more perverse language, but man, to really just off the bat just slut shame her, like call her
Oh,
a
I love
bitch and a
it.
slut.
Oh my God.
What?
He says, you
What?
stupid bitch, you filthy slut. I'll teach you to fuck with me. That is the best thing he could have said as his first like speaking line as the doll, because you need to know how terrible, just terrible this man that has been hanging out with this kid for over a day is. Like, we
Yeah.
know he's a murderer, but like, let's not forget he was also the Lakeside Strangler. Like, he was just strangling people,
Yeah.
presumably women,
Likely.
likely.
So Karen's like, well, okay. What do I do with this information? Um, Goes to Chris Sarandon, who's not
Mhm.
buying it.
Oh
And even
man.
she's just like, look at my fucking arm. What do you think fucking did this? And he's like, I don't know. A lot of people bite people. What do you want me to say?
You have a kid. He could have bit you yesterday.
Yeah. So she's just like, fuck this. All right, fine. I'm gonna solve this myself. And get answers. I don't know why she thinks this peddler character is gonna have the answers, but you have
Oh,
this sequence of her trying to find him.
yeah.
I probably could have. I mean, it's only an 87-minute movie anyway, but I think you could probably cut down some of this. There's like montage of like her like
Yeah.
doing the detective work trying to find this guy.
Hmm.
Um, and when she does, of course, he's like a fucking asshole about it and he tries to
Yeah.
fucking swindle her and get more money out of her and then tries to sexually assault her, like
Yeah.
just right there in front of other people, like in
Uh-huh.
this alley.
And nobody stops
And
him.
yeah, I mean, except for Chris Sarandon finally when he
Of
shows up,
course.
you know, and
Because
then
I'm
starts,
assuming he was just following her, like, to see where she goes and what she does. Because at that point, I mean,
yeah,
it's like maybe she's feeding me like a wild narrative and, trying to get Andy out of trouble. I would follow her, see where she was going.
yeah. And also if I, as a mother, I would maybe be like, hey, what if I just figure out some wild story to try to get my son out of trouble? I think I would
Absolutely.
probably do that.
Yep.
I'd
I
try
would lie to
anything, to be
cops
fair.
110%.
Yeah. Um, what we do learn from this peddler, um, after some physical coercion from, Chris Sarandon,
Hmm.
is that he got the toy from the toy store in the beginning of the movie
Ooh,
that blew up. And now Chris Sarandon's like,
that's a weird
is
coincidence.
is this enough to follow through on? Let's see. So, you got this doll, where some weird stuff happened from this toy store where I did kill this strangler. Yes. Um, this someone's accused this doll from this toy store after the fact of going and murdering Eddie,
Mhm.
who was the known accomplice to the Lakeshore Strangler,
Mhm.
Charles Lee Ray. Also, you know, Chucky sometimes is Charles, but for short, short for Charles.
Mhm.
Huh. See, that's when I just feel like, okay, all right, look, I'm sorry I didn't believe you, but this is starting to sound pretty rad, and I'm down for this. Because
Yeah.
the other thing too is he needs to be like, well, maybe I need to watch my back
Yeah, because he said
because
he was going to come for him.
he said specifically, I am going to kill two people.
Eddie and
Eddie.
you,
Yeah. Now,
no
like, yeah,
matter
Maggie.
what.
Yeah, no matter what. Now, granted, Maggie was just a unfortunate bystander, right?
Hmm.
But so, um, he's still, man, he's not fully believing it yet because he takes Karen home. Um, he's like, look, you need to get out of my car and go to
Yeah.
bed. I don't know what the fuck's happening. But then she's like, you say you don't like loose ends. I'm a loose end, to which she's like, okay, okay, lady,
Yeah.
no.
Like, that's
But
not what I meant, but fine.
get out of my car. Sends her home. He's like, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
I would get
Pretty fair.
I was gonna say I would get a hotel if I were Karen, but I'm like, I don't know if she has the money for that, which is unfortunate because I would not want to be in my home.
100%. Yeah. Well, and also just how cold it's gonna be with that windowsill. We're clearly in the winter because sometimes there's snow on the ground, sometimes there's not.
Hmm. And
But
they got big coats.
now Chris Sarandon doesn't go straight home. He's like, okay, this is a little weird. I just did not want to show my
Hmm.
cards out loud just yet. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
go back to the station, pull up my file on Charles Lee Ray, be like, fuck, they did call him Chucky. Okay, that's some shit. Um, he's like, all right, I'm gonna take this file. I'm gonna go home. Maybe, run a bath, make some tea, get back into another sweater, and just really
Yeah.
just get cozy.
An even
Uh,
hotter sweater.
right. He does not get to do that. Because then you have this sequence in his car,
Oh, so good.
where Chucky's in the back and starts attacking him. Does tries to strangle, right? With the
With the
jumper
jumper
cables.
cables. Super fun. Yeah, he's very resourceful.
Love that. Oh, fuck. The most uncomfortable part of this movie, though, for me was the knife coming up through the
Ugh.
seat and out the back, and him trying to
Yeah,
drive the car.
I don't
Oh my
like
God.
that at all. The knife coming through the back of the seat. Oh, because he did he cut the brakes? Is that why the car is still moving, or Chucky's like pressing down on the gas pedal? Because otherwise, it's like, why wouldn't you just pull over?
Yeah, he starts pressing down on the gas.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty fun
It's
scene.
weird where like Chucky is like kind of like hollowed out underneath the sea and is able probably to just get really quick access. I don't know if that's something he
Yeah,
was just working on the whole time, but I don't know how long that takes or where he got
yeah.
that knife, but that's okay.
He's
Yeah,
been
that's
running
pretty good.
around
But
for hours.
this is when he realizes, like, yeah, obviously, okay, now, all right, it's a fucking doll trying to kill me. I
Uh-huh.
like how Chucky really, like now that a detective knows, like, and he doesn't kill him immediately,
Hmm.
Chucky really does not give a fuck about letting people know that he's a doll,
Nope,
which I
not at all.
appreciate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
like
he'll
that too.
use the surprise thing at first, like just to
Yeah.
get some good kills in, but
Hmm.
yeah. So the car flips. Chucky still tries to attack him, but then ends up scurrying about.
Yeah, because he's trapped under there.
Also, once Karen's learned that Charles Lee Ray is the name of this person that was
Hmm.
killed and maybe possessing the body of this doll, she's like, have you all checked out his home? Norris earlier was like, yeah, yeah, we looked, dude, it's fine. There's nothing to see there. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, it's totally normal place.
I forget where exactly she learns where he lives. I guess Chris
Yeah.
Sarandon tells her, but I
Hmm.
think he does.
I don't
So, because she
remember.
goes to Charles Lee Ray's house to investigate.
Hmm.
And then this is where we find all like the Damballa stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and did he paint all of that? Because he's pretty good.
I think so. Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that too. I was like, wow, he made these murals. Like maybe he should have been the lakeside painter. Just use those little hands for something else.
Something a little more just charming and
Yeah.
joyful. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
I agree.
So there's a little less strangling, a little more brush brush. So then this is like clearly proof where they're just like, see, this is we just need to, and then there's this painting of the guy. This guy's name is
Hmm.
John, who
Yeah.
mentors Charles Lee Ray in voodoo, I guess, on the side.
Taught him everything he
Um,
knows.
but then gets surprised that the Lakeshore Strangler is using voodoo for bad. You know what I mean?
Maybe he didn't
He's
know he was the Lakeshore Strangler. Lakeshore. I said Lakeside. The, maybe
whatever.
he didn't. Maybe he didn't know like that was him.
That's true. That'd be the only thing I could imagine
He just thought he was, yeah, this guy.
when Chucky finds him and is like, "Hey, how do I get out of this fucking body?" By the way, I've been killing a few people. He's like, "Nah, you're an abomination. I'm not telling you shit. You deserve to be in
Hmm.
there." Caves pretty quickly, because Chucky's got a little voodoo doll of him.
Yeah. But by this time, Chucky's looking pretty rough. Like, I like that he like is starting to have a receding hairline
Yeah,
and like his eyebrows look a little meaner. Like his eyes also his the blue looks paler.
yeah,
Like, yeah, so he's starting to look more human, which is pretty fun. But um it's he's not very cute anymore.
yeah. Chucky's realizing that he can bleed and that he can feel
Hmm.
pain, stuff that he
Hmm.
was not expecting when taking the body of a doll. Um, John explains to him like, "Yeah, dude, the longer than you're in that body, the more human you're going to become. You're going to get stuck
Hmm.
in there." And then one of the more, I mean, in a movie like this, even with that bar, a pretty convoluted rule that the only way Chucky can get out of this body is to put himself specifically in the person he first revealed himself as a doll to. I don't know voodoo, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know how specific of a rule that is for body swapping. It seems like a lot though.
Well, and also, then would that mean that if I body swapped with another human, that same rule would apply? Like the first person just see me like, or that I told them like, hey, I'm not actually, Natalie, like I'm Kyle. Then would I have to, then they would be the only person I could switch to?
So, like, say if Jamie Lee Curtis swapped bodies with Lindsay Lohan,
Great example.
and then Lindsay Lohan inside Jamie Lee Curtis's body reveals to Lindsay Lohan's boyfriend or friend that she's actually Lindsay Lohan, but inside the body of her mother. I think Lindsay Lohan can only then, by child's play rules, could only then transfer herself to the body of the boyfriend. And I don't know what happens to the mom who's still inside Lindsay Lohan. I don't know how any of that would work. But
Well, but that's the whole point. Like, it makes no sense unless you transferred yourself into a doll specifically.
and then what happens to Andy's soul? Does that just disappear, go away, go to hell? I don't know.
I don't know.
Vanish? Or does Andy get put inside this doll?
Is he like in the sunken place?
Something, right?
Yeah.
So so
All good, all good questions.
we get this rule, so which ultimately just needs, yeah, just some bare bones reason to get us to ultimately our climax later on, where
Hmm.
he's like, oh, okay, now the child's life is specifically at stake, whereas it
Hmm.
wasn't before necessarily. He didn't seem like Chucky had real plans to kill Andy
Mm-mm.
necessarily. He was just like, I'm going to use this little kid to kind of get me around.
Yeah.
Um, but feels like he was always, probably wasn't ever mean to Andy, or at least at
Yeah.
first. He's probably just like,
Maybe
take me to Eddie's.
maybe he would have been his friend to the end, you know?
Trip. John gets real fucked up because Chucky's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you anyway, and then uses the voodoo doll to like break all of his legs and shit.
I know.
Um,
That's fun.
J John is still alive just long enough for Karen and Chris Sarandon to arrive,
Hmm.
which I think maybe he gives, in his like dying breath, like says like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's going after the kid, or he's going
Yeah.
after
This is
who he
like
revealed
protect the
himself
boy or
to,
save
whatever,
the boy.
whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like a stretch of the movie where you just get from like set piece to set piece where like Chucky's there and then Karen and Norris arrive and always too late and then get some bit of information.
It's very Final Destination.
Yeah.
I do like that before Chucky kills John, he you get like the most dialogue out of him that you have in the entire movie. Like he's doing
Yeah.
quite a bit of talking, and like I said, I don't feel like he quite like Brad Dourif quite found where he wanted to go with Chucky, but it's a good start. And he just I don't know, just the way that he speaks as Chucky is just so wonderful. It just keeps getting better. But I love that you get like probably more talking out of Chucky than you do in the whole movie in that one scene.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Um, Only to be punctuated, I guess, with I guess I've got a date with a 6-year-old boy.
Yeah. Why would you word that way?
Yeah, I'm like, I know we're gonna be talking about our favorite Chucky quotes. That's not gonna be one of them.
It's not, no. It's
No.
a
Why would you say it
really,
that way?
yeah, weird choice. It was a weird choice. Yeah.
So, um, importantly as well, John tells Chris Sarandon and Karen that you can't just set him on fire. You can't just shoot him. You have to get him in the heart, like vampire
Hmm.
style.
Yep.
So, so that's good. They'll need to know that, even though they kind of conveniently forget that until
Uh,
like
Immediately
the
forget
very
it.
end.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's kind of dumb.
John has his final gasp. He's dead. Goodbye, John. We hardly knew yet. John, again, I just don't go teaching voodoo willy-nilly. Maybe vet
Yeah.
people just a little bit. Just
Yeah,
a
like
little
have
bit.
them fill out an application or something. Do a background check.
Like, how much really could Charles Lee Ray like not act like a serial killer when he's with other people doing other things? Like
Or
I
even just a terrible person.
yeah, I just feel like even without knowing maybe that he's the Lakeshore Strangler, we're gonna give John that grace. Um, I feel like he had Charles Lee Ray has enough behaviors and mannerisms and perspectives that I'd still be like, you know what? Maybe let's not teach you the secret to eternal life. I don't know if that's a good idea just yet. It feels like you're gonna not
Yeah.
use this how the instructions intended. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those are all good points. Yeah, he couldn't be that great of a guy.
So Chucky is on his way to get Andy at the behavioral health kid jail,
Sure,
whatever
that's
that
a great
is.
name for it. The behavioral
I don't
health
know.
kid jail. No, I like it.
Well, because there's like bars on the windows, and I mean, I think it's like a behavioral health hospital or something. But then also, yeah, they have the capacity to do clearly electric shock therapy on
Yeah.
children inside that facility as well.
And just have clipboards with the patient name and room number written in a ridiculously large font or like size. It's huge.
Yeah.
I
I
love it.
noticed that too. Um, Andy sees Chucky like from across, like running up the stairs, trying to
Oh
get
yeah.
inside the building. Again, I love these shots from like far away where it's like clearly like a short person like
Hmm.
wearing this outfit just scurrying
Yeah.
about. I love it so much. Um, Andy tries to escape. And again, like I brought it up earlier, I'm like, I feel so bad for him because he's like,
He's
he's here,
smart.
he's coming, he's smart too.
Hmm.
Um, he tries to escape. The doctor is not having it, and then like tries to I don't know if that's
Like
like a
sedate him.
tranquilizer or sedate him. That's the word I was
Yeah.
looking for.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's like trying to sedate him with this giant ass needle. He's like, hold still, you little fuck. Let me just. This is gonna
No.
sting just a little bit, but trust me, you're gonna get knocked the fuck out. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, and that doctor, he's very creepy. The actor
Yeah,
that plays that doctor, I would not trust him at all.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah, luckily he doesn't live for much longer.
yeah.
This was kind of a fun death.
Hmm. And he's smart too. He grabs that scalpel like real quick as like a
Yeah,
weapon.
he's ready to stab someone with that. Good
Yeah,
for
he's
him.
he's scrappy. Yeah, I like this guy getting electrocuted. It's pretty fun.
Someone comes in, they're just like, no, 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 no. This is not how this was supposed to happen. This little shock helmet was meant for children and children alone.
And that's why I can kill a full-grown man and make his face bleed out.
I love that though. I thought his fucking little fried little burnt little head looked great.
Yeah.
Again, Chris Sarandon and Karen arrive too late, and then they're like, well, fuck, Andy's gone. You know, the staff are just like, yeah, that little kid's a scamp. He escapes pretty quick. His little legs and that ingenuity and that great working knowledge of the Chicago transit system. Um,
He's really got
he
his
just
shit
slipped
together.
through. Yeah, he's really got his shit together. Just not when it's making breakfast. So they determine Andy must have went home because, to be fair, I think with most children, you're like, where would they go?
Hmm.
And I think that would be like
Home is safe.
like home is safe, right? It's like,
Hmm.
that or maybe like a neighbor's house or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
Like if a kid is lost and is in crisis, if there is a safe home available, it seems like one of the likely places they would try to go to,
For
you
sure.
know. It's like a little rat, you can unless you get them like real far away, they'll always come right back. So you got to be careful. I think it's something like a mile, 2 mile radius. Like if you
I
try to
don't like
like,
that at all.
yeah, they got that the honing thing. Ooh,
Hmm.
just
Gross.
scurrying about. Yeah, all make their way back to Eddie's place. Those poor little rats. Just imagine all those flaming little rats just being launched into the
Oh
sky from that
man.
explosion.
Yeah, they
Oh
thought they had
no.
it made.
I know. So they determined that Andy went back home. Um, Chucky also knows this because he's like, hey, he's
Of
probably a dumb fucking
course.
little kid. I'll fucking follow this kid, you
Yeah.
know. Um, Chucky follows, comes home, attacks Andy. Man, knocks that kid out good with that tiny little bat.
Yeah. I know, and Andy's smart again. Like he hides in the closet and arms himself
Yeah.
with the bat. He's really doing his best, but he's still 6.
I think I had that Muppet Babies playhouse that's in
Oh,
Andy's
really?
closet.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that looked really familiar. And I watched a fuck ton of Muppet Babies.
Oh yeah, I love Muppet Babies.
I insisted that my mom, they had like Muppet Babies toothpaste, and or maybe it was just Muppets toothpaste, but there was like a Kermit mint or green apple flavor. And then there
Ew.
was I know, this is a nostalgia episode.
Yeah.
Um, Miss Piggy with like the bubblegum pink,
Hmm.
right? And then I think there was like a Gonzo one that was like a blue
A
raspberry
raspberry or
thing.
something.
Just a
That
blue
sounds
thing,
gross.
you
The
know?
bubble gum definitely
Yeah.
sounds like it'd be the tastiest.
I like that. I hope that the flavor is just like blue and there's some sort of like, you're never really entirely sure what the flavor is, just like you're never entirely sure what a Gonzo is either. But
Yeah.
you just roll with it. Gonzo's Gonzo.
Yeah.
So Chucky starts his chant, but Karen and Chris Sarandon, they arrive. They're able to break in. Chucky's done a pretty good job at, blocking the doors and shit and locking them
Yeah.
out.
He
Yeah,
looks
for,
really
you know.
creepy in that scene where he's like chanting over Andy and like the
Yeah.
lightning and all of that's coming in. Like that blue lighting on his face looks really good.
So a fight breaks out. Chucky's escaping. Like this is still it's it's still a big enough apartment where a little doll, I guess, could get loose.
It's a huge
And
apartment.
it is a really big apartment, a corner apartment too.
Hmm.
So could you imagine the rent on a place like that? Chicago these days? Jesus.
Karen was getting a deal.
Yeah, I think just a single department store clerk, I don't think is making enough to pay for that whole place.
No.
And being a single mom and shit, yeah.
Hmm.
So Norris is like, "Hey, I've got a gun. Karen, I'm ready. Here you go. You can have this. I think you're ready.
Yeah,
Let's kill
he
this
hands
fucking
it
thing."
to her.
Yeah. She's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know how to use a gun. No, it'll be fine. Don't even worry about it."
But she does not.
No. She stays with Andy while Norris is looking through the apartment. Um, Chucky surprises him and knocks him out. And then after stabbing him a couple times, getting a couple good stabs in the leg, I'm pretty sure as well.
Yeah, he
Um,
gets him pretty good so that he can't like because obviously he'd be the biggest threat. So he's got to
right.
get him down.
That's why I'm just like, you got to go for the what's it like
The
the
Achilles.
Achilles or
Ooh,
yeah, like
ow.
what's the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's always the one part I will always remember from Hostel is
Oh, the Achilles tendon slice. Ooh,
I'll
it's so
remember
hard to
that
watch.
more than anything else in that movie, just because I'm like, oh, fucking the way it just opens up and you're like,
Yeah,
you can't do
it's
shit. You can't,
it's real
you're
gross.
done.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, um, Karen arrives as he's about to kill Chris Sarandon,
Hmm.
shoots him a couple times. Chase continues back into the living room. She's like, hey, I'm going to make good on my promise to throw you in this goddamn fireplace. You
Yes.
thought I was just fucking saying that shit at the beginning, but that was actually a
She's
pretty
like,
good
guess
idea, so I'm going to
what?
stick with that.
Who
So
who's the fucking bitch now?
after this fight, I like, yeah, she's able to get him behind like the gray. She's like, throw a log in. Let's
Oh,
do let's
the screaming, the sounds
oh
that Brad Dourif is making. It's like this like chattering scream that he does where he's like trying
yeah.
to shake through the gate. Nightmare fuel. Absolutely
Yeah.
gave me nightmares. I did not want to go near a fireplace.
She's able to get the matches down, but still has to hold the grate up because Chucky's fighting his way out. It's not like that grate's like tied to anything, so Chucky could
Hmm.
absolutely fly out if she wasn't holding it. Um, Andy grabs the match. Andy knows how to do this. And this is when you get your moment where Chucky's like, Andy, thought we were friends to the end. And normally, so sometimes, especially in slasher movies, when you have your final girl, or in this case, you're like your final, 6-year-old or whatever, um, sometimes it really fucking works when you have like whatever like fun fucking fuck you mic drop line that you say to the
Hmm.
killer right before you fucking take him out. I do think this is a good one.
I think this is a good one too.
Especially that's some cold shit coming from a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
When Andy or Chucky's like, Andy, I thought we were gonna be friends to the end. And then he just goes, this is the end, friend. Boom! Lights that
Yeah.
motherfucker on
I would
fire.
have been real proud if I were Karen.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, oh, fist bump, Andy.
Yeah, I would just be like, Andy, I I've resented you all your life,
You're
and
so
you're so
badass now.
terrible, but that was the most ruthless shit I've ever heard, and I love it. Tell yeah, tell you gotta tell fucking Chris Sarandon he said that because he's gonna love that.
Yeah.
He's gonna wish he thought of it when
Yeah.
he killed fucking Charles Lee Ray the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so now this doesn't immediately kill Chucky because again,
Oof.
they really disregarded John's advice to aim for the heart.
Yeah, seriously.
Karen goes to Chris Sarandon, who's bleeding out a little bit,
Hmm.
and Andy goes to go get the first aid kit from the
Hmm.
kitchen, I think, or the bathroom, whatever. Um, Dang. But then Chucky, fuck, still coming, all just like melted
Oh,
and shit. Like that's still pretty effective too. Where I'm
he
like,
looks
this thing is,
so scary.
yeah, with the still you still see some of like the teeth and the eyeball and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah,
I
it's
love
real
that.
good work. I think I mean, there's this very different, like, there's a shot change that happens from like that front view of Chucky, which is clearly, the animatronic doll, and then it switches and it's the smaller person that is wearing the world's worst mask. I don't know what that shit is that they have on their face, but it it's a really weird shot. But yeah, burned up Chucky is really scary. And Andy could have been a little bit louder. I think he was in shock, but he was like whisper yelling.
Karen still got that gun. She's able to use it. Isn't jammed up this time. Starts putting more bullets in him. He keeps coming, but she keeps shooting.
Hmm.
And then finally, this doll just fucking falls over. But she didn't shoot him in the fucking heart yet. So
What a waste.
this partner, Jack is his name. I don't
Love
think I
him.
brought him up at all since I mentioned the actor who played him at the very beginning, but
No, he's not
he's
really important up until now.
he shows up and he's being an asshole. Just being like, are you sure this fucking doll did this? Like, what'd y'all do to this goddamn fucking doll? It
Yeah.
smells terrible in here.
Oh,
Like melted, burnt plastic. You don't want to be breathing that shit in.
it's like
That's
melted burnt plastic and like probably burnt flesh as well. It's like a little bit of both.
ew. But partner's just being an asshole, being like, okay, you all got to tell me what's going on. Stop pulling my chain. And then Chucky, bam, bursts through behind this guy and starts trying to strangle him. I like that. Get one more strangle in if you can,
I love
you
it.
know?
And I love the head telling the body what to do. How he's
Yeah.
yelling, just kill him, kill him. I love it.
Oh, right, because he doesn't even have the fucking head.
No, his head's
Right.
detached because he like puts it on top of the TV.
It's funny because I was thinking there's a part where with Karen and like the knife going through the door a bunch, obviously very
Mm,
much like Shining.
hmm.
That part now I'm just like, oh, it's very Reanimator-esque,
Yeah, yeah, it is.
you know? I like that. Chris Sarandon though finally puts a bullet through this little fucker's heart, and finally this doll fucking stops.
Yep.
You think Chucky's dead forever, Natalie?
I would be really surprised if the next seven films don't have him in it.
Right? So we're gonna see. So I've got a feeling that this is not gonna be the end for this little guy.
Mhm.
Um,
They just end on that sad, like, freeze frame of Andy's face. He looks so
just knowing
sad.
like this kid's gonna have
Your
to
life is
process a
ruined.
lot.
Ruined.
Yeah. It's a
Oh,
weird choice to end on that shot, but you're right. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
But dang,
Oh.
that's child's play.
Mhm. That movie does not play. So good.
That would have been that'd be a pretty fun tagline too. This movie
This
does not play. I don't know.
movie does not
Something like
play.
that.
I don't know if people spoke that way in 1988.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. But speaking of which, I would love to hear some taglines.
All right. This movie has nine taglines.
Dang, okay.
I didn't expect that, I'll be honest. But I am excited for this franchise's taglines because I think I remember there being some really good ones throughout and some really silly ones.
Yeah, I think I remember the one for Seed, which is so dumb, kind of funny.
Don't spoil it.
I won't. So, all right, let's go.
Okay, I'm gonna try to say these in order of maybe not so great to best. I'm gonna try my best. Chucky did it. Is one of them.
Hmm. Okay.
So there's that.
Thumbs down.
No one believes the truth or lives to tell it.
No.
It sounds like it should be about an alien, like aliens or something, like sci-fi,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that doesn't scream killer doll to me.
Okay. Something's moved in with the Barclay family, and so has terror.
Like, I think you could do another pass at this.
Terror
Like,
has moved in with the Barclay family.
right, it's something like that. It's just a little cleaner, a little less stilted. I don't know.
Lot of words there.
Thumbs
So
down.
yeah.
Yeah,
He wants you for a new best friend.
better.
Yeah.
He's your
Okay,
friend to the end, you know?
this one's wild. When people have nightmares, they dream of Freddy. When Freddy has nightmares, he dreams of Chucky.
Does he?
I, I don't know where they got that idea from.
He might. And then just to like, I don't know, fucking bring Freddy's name into this? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Chucky is one mean SOB.
Like that either. Like,
Yeah.
yes, he is. That's true. They're not lying.
Mhm.
But
You'll only wish it was make believe. Or I'm sorry, you'll wish it was only make believe. I said that backwards. Yes, I know it's a big difference. You'll wish it was only make believe. I like that one. Yeah, yeah. Andy Barclay has a new playmate who's in no mood to play. Why did we put play in there twice? Yeah, maybe Andy
it's a
Barclay has a
mouthful.
new friend who's in no mood to play.
Yeah. Like, just tighten
Right?
this up. Come on, everybody. What are you doing?
Yeah, they were just throwing out taglines as they do. And then this one's my favorite. This doll is killer.
Sure, because also in the 80s, killer was used to say something was good or rad or tubular or awesome. Um, Wait, is that it? So literally, like, he's your friend to the end is not a tagline for this movie? What the fuck? I feel like that was just given to you because, like, it's the end, like, it's the end of your life. He's your friend to the end of your
So
life.
here's
I
the
don't know.
thing. Here's the thing with taglines as well. Sometimes they'll come up with additional taglines for like VHS releases or anniversary collection releases and things like that. So I would bet that that one came up later.
I love this fucking poster with Maggie falling out of the window, and
Hmm.
you just see like his eyes like in the sky and
Yeah,
shit, like
it's
looking all
great.
menacing and shit.
Yep,
I love that. That's
I
so good.
agree. Hmm.
Fucking just poster art sometimes is just so fucking cool.
It really is. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm gonna I'm gonna let you carry us to the end a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I already forgot what the rules were and what categories we were gonna be ranking.
I think we're gonna go ahead and just start with our boo scores. So I'm gonna
Okay.
let you go first since I went first last time.
This movie's a stone cold classic. It's so good. It introduces one of my favorite characters in horror.
Yeah.
Um, in a movie that, like, again, I feel like I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. It's not necessarily super clever. Um, I do appreciate also how they like voodoo itself isn't evil because it's always portrayed as like a
Hmm.
spooky thing, whatever. And I think that's a little, I think a little offensive.
Yeah.
Um, but I appreciate that John says, like, no, 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 no. You're using this for evil, Chucky.
Yeah.
Like, that is not what the shit's meant for.
User
And
error.
making that, yeah, making that clear delineation too. So I
Hmm.
appreciate the movie for that. Um, I think everyone's great in this movie. I think the performances are fantastic. I always forget I guess how few kills there are
Yeah, there's only
compared
four.
to, yeah, later movies. So, the Doctor, John, Eddie, Maggie,
Hmm.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
And, yeah, 4 kills, 4 boos. I love this fucking
Oh,
movie. It's
four
great.
booze.
How
Okay.
about you?
I agree with everything that you said. Um, yeah, this movie introduces a character that I absolutely love, one of my favorite villains ever. I can't stress enough how long Chucky haunted my dreams. And even to this day, when I was watching this movie, I will not pause this movie on a freeze frame of Chucky's face. I can't do it. I won't do it. I don't want to see his little eyes move. Like, I just have this thought that he's just going to look at me. I
Yeah,
won't do it. So that's how like heavy of an effect this movie had on me. So while I don't think it's a perfect movie, I'm gonna give it 5 boos because it's just a classic for me. I love it so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lay that out there now. Yeah, five
I love
boos.
that. I am not going to show my cards, but
No,
a 5 boo score might show up in this franchise still.
I there might be another one for me too. So I think I did the same thing for the Scream franchise as well. Like I'm just giving out 5 boos like nobody's business.
I had a feeling for Scream 1 and Scream 2, definitely, but that Scream 4 5 boo score was surprising to me.
It's controversial, I think.
Nah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't, hey, that's Scream 4 is probably, well, no, I think I ranked that above 2. I don't
We
know.
both did.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
we both have the same ranking. Yeah.
That's a hot take. That was a hot ranking.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, not too
I feel like
bad.
4 is a little low now, but I'm gonna stick with it.
No, you stick with it. You wouldn't let me change my score for Final Destination 2, so you can fuck right off. Still
Wow,
bitter about
okay.
that.
Sure.
Okay. Now, there's only 4 kills, but which of the 4 is your favorite kill for this movie?
Hmm. I am going to say that it's not Eddie's, but that's a hard one because I think all three are kind of cute in their own way, right? You've got Maggie's, which is more of that, like, you know, sneaking up, kind of
Mm-hmm.
suspenseful, cat and mouse kind of thing a little bit. And then you've got the voodoo doll kill. So it's like a very supernatural kill, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And then you've got the doctor's kill, which turns his head to like a burnt little popcorn kernel, which I'm gonna say is my favorite kill.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
I agree. That's also my favorite kill. And I think the reason why, I mean, it is my favorite kill straight up, but I think it gives you a little glimpse of like Chucky having fun with it and finding creative ways to kill, which is a little bit of like just character building for him, for sure. So I like that electrocution kill as well, even though that character is kind of
Yeah.
a non-character. Um, okay. What's your favorite Chucky quote for this movie? This part of the game will get more fun as we go through because he says some pretty wild shit.
Um, can it be a Charles Lee Ray quote?
Sure, that counts.
Okay. I like that at the beginning. Just that you hear this, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna get you for this. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get Eddie no matter what. And I like the confidence.
Oh
That
yeah.
like I'm gonna haunt you from beyond the grave. Don't even worry. Um, I think that's my favorite.
Yeah. It
How about
you
you?
know what would have made that line better for me is if he did get the detective as well. Like if he
Yeah.
made good on that promise. So that would have made it better for me. I think you already know my favorite quote because I said it earlier. It's you stupid bitch, you filthy slut. I'll teach you to fuck with me. It's it's just so terrible.
So unnecessarily nasty.
Yes, that's why I love it so much because he just goes so hard right off the bat. I love it. I love the misogyny of it all. Like, I think it's such a good encapsulation of what an asshole Chucky is and just what a terrible person he is. And I think that's what I love about it so much.
I like when he attacks Chris Sarandon in the car and just goes, "Good night, asshole."
Yeah.
You know, because that's the thing. Is like I like that he just adds like, you know, like calling people an asshole. Calling people, she's a fucking bitch. She deserved it. She had what was coming to her.
Yeah.
Did Maggie have that coming to her? No, absolutely
No,
not.
she was wonderful just because she didn't want a doll to watch the 9 o'clock news. And
Yeah,
there's nothing to rank. So right now, this is the only movie. So we'll have
dang.
to see where we are when we get to the second one.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on this movie, of course. So share that shit
Yeah,
on Instagram. And yeah, I'm just
excited to
really
go see it.
excited.
Yeah,
I'm really fucking stoked for Child's Play 2.
me too. Don't show
Yeah.
your cards too early.
No, not at all.
But
But
yeah, I'm excited.
dang, Heidi Ho, Natalie. That's all I got.
That's all I
Anything
got.
else?
No.
Okay. All right, everybody. Take care. Oh, geez, just watch your Achilles tendons. Because
Ooh. Yeah.
okay. All right, everybody. Three, two, one, ghost.
Thanks for listening to our episode on Child's Play. If you don't want playtime to end, you can subscribe to our podcast and leave us a 5 boo review on whichever platform you choose to listen. You can find us on Instagram at 321 Ghost Pod and give us a follow. We would love to hear your thoughts on the film and hear your favorite kill. You can shoot an email to 321ghostpod@gmail.com to share any thoughts, questions, or recommend a movie you'd like to hear us chat about. We'll get back to the Child's Play franchise in April, but next week, we've got another little villain to discuss with 1993's Leprechaun. Thanks again for listening, and remember, we're your friends till the end. 3, 2, 1, Ghost.